Hi, I'm Andrew Part and I'm the chair of the LGBTA here at Loughborough University. I chose to be on committee because Loughborough has a sort of a stigma, I'd say. I wouldn't, not necessarily homophobic, but people assume it's not necessarily the most gay-friendly place, and I wanted to say that I changed that and I made a difference because someone's got to do it, to be honest, and why not me? So, as for my coming out story, everyone asks you sort of what age did you come out at, like what age did you know you liked boys instead of girls? And for me, I'd say I was comfortable and I knew my sexuality since I was, say, 13, 14, so that was quite a few years for me. And then coming out, I first came out to some friends in my secondary school, and I felt at the time that was the right thing to do. I wasn't really ready to tell my parents yet because, as you know, there are certain things you say to your parents that you wouldn't say to your friends and vice versa. So I decided I'd go for my best friends and sort of it would get out from there because that's how schools are. No matter, gossip goes on like wildfire, so that sort of sorts itself out. At first I was a little bit shaky about how I was going to tell people because it's not, how would you bring that up in conversation? But it was sort of, I just plucked up the courage and sat my mates down and just confronted them and told them that I was gay. And they were really good with it, and then it sort of got around school like wildfire, but I was quite lucky my school was fairly accepting with it, so that worked quite well, I think. Then my parents, that was sort of like the next big hurdle because you don't want to keep secrets from your parents, but it's one of those things you don't know how they're going to react, and you've always got this fear of, well, how are they going to feel after it, because there's always going to be sort of a knock-on effect for them. But weirdly enough, they asked me instead of me having to tell them, which in some respects I'm happy about. In some respects I'm sort of like, well, I missed the opportunity there. So obviously they sat me down, and my mum asked me, she said that she noticed I had certain gay tendencies, and I just said, well, yes, I'm gay. And I mean, they've dealt with that really well because it's not something new in my family. My uncle has got 0 partners, so it's not like they've never heard of it before and they're not backwards about it. So they just want me to be happy, and I'm definitely a lot more comfortable being able to say it to people because I know it really shouldn't seem this way, but it can sometimes seem like a bit of not a dirty secret, but you get what I mean, because it's like you sort of have to hide it away from the world because it's not the social norm, so you feel like not everyone should know about it. Then obviously coming to university was the next step, and that's a whole new world because university's like this little capsule that it's like the whole world, but you've sort of taken this little bit and you've made it onto a campus. And especially when you're living with completely new people, instead of your friends who you see 9 to 5, socialise at the weekends, you've got to live with them, and that's really sort of, that was a bit of an issue, like when I came here, because you never know, do I tell them straight away, or because are they going to know me as Andrew the gay guy, or are they just going to know me as me? And you don't want to leave it too long because it seems is that mistrust. So I decided to leave it for a bit because I was trying to sort of hit the best of both worlds, and about 6 weeks in, I got voted onto committee, so I thought at this point, well, I'm probably going to be known on campus for my role, so I might as well tell them before they find out in some other way, and I wanted to use it for different things. So it took a while. I hinted at it, and they were like, "Are you bi?" And I was like, "No, I'm gay." And they were like, "Okay." So I mean, like, at first it's a bit of a shock. It's always a shock, someone suspecting something and someone actually knowing something. But they've been fine with it. I mean, like, there's always a bit of banter, but you have to be able to say that sort of thing. And if it's with your mates, you know, it's nothing bad. It's just having a joke, and it's just like, it's a bit of me. And I'm comfortable with that. I mean, like, I know I've had a fairly good experience. I've never experienced any homophobia. I mean, you get the odd comment that you can sometimes think, well, how am I going to take that? But on the whole, I've had a very good experience with it all. And I think some people aren't anywhere near as fortunate as I've been, and I know a lot of people, I mean, some people watching this video will be thinking they might be having a terrible time, they might be experiencing bullying, their parents might have taken it the wrong way, etc. But as bad as life may seem, you might not be able to see the light on the other side of the tunnel and the grass green on the other side and all that cliche rubbish. But it genuinely does get better. You just have to take time and believe in yourself, because that's the key to it, I think. Once you're comfortable with yourself, then it's time to tell us, because unless you can feel comfortable in yourself, that's really going to have an effect on your life, and it's just not worth it, you stressing yourself out about it when, in fact, what's the worst that can happen, I suppose? It gets better.